metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
It is Sunday, somewhat evening. Once again, it is late, very late if you're watching this live. If you're watching the replay, it doesn't matter, but it's time for another The Auburn Experience podcast live recording. We're going to do episode 127. Yes, post-Auburn Regional and so much more. Let's get into all those different things right now. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience, some of us more than others. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods, time, people, places, and things, but at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it might be, though, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us and what we're going to be doing this morning. For some, maybe, if you're on the East Coast, it's still evening here or nighttime when we're doing this live. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Loomis, back for episode 127 with me, as always, in a much more normal location, much less frantic location. My good friend and yours, Mr. Austin Scott. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, War Eagle, to you. This is by far and away the latest we have done for the live recording on this podcast. Rivals, some of those for you probably with the Oregon State regional, super regional back in the day. But we both came from Plainsman Park. We both are a little bit tired, but we're here because it's a great day to be an Auburn Tiger.
It's a great day to be an Auburn Tiger, even from the mobile broadcast studio, aka the back of my car. Hope we don't get any visitors. Those of you who have watched live streams from the mobile broadcast studio before know that I've gotten asked one time, am I somebody's Uber driver? It might happen again. Who knows? I am in a safe location, though. So that's all I can attest to right now. Just hang on, folks. This one's wild. It's a wild episode because we got a lot of fun things to talk about, but it's wild because of where I am and the frantic state that Austin always gets to see me scrambling on a normal basis to get the show going. This is a different beast in and of itself, but we're here. We made it.
We're okay. Here. We do what we can. We're all good. It's okay.
It's okay. All right. Since it's okay, it's actually more than okay. We're going to get to the Auburn Regional. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to give you a little bit of Auburn basketball flavor this evening, the roster news that happened this week and that kind of stuff. But let's jump into Auburn potpourri stuff and hit some of the other things that happened this week. It is going to be a happy episode, Austin. However, we do need to start off by acknowledging the sad thing that happened this week, or at least one of the sad things, and that is the end of Auburn men's golf season. They were unable to defend their national title out in Carlsbad, California. They made it to the actual last rounds of competition. Well, not the last round, but to the final 8, Elite 8, whatever you want to call it, the quarterfinals of the NCAA championships. Jackson Coyven went off. He had a great day. One of our freshmen really showed out as well. Everybody else had a pretty difficult day out there in the course, but all in all, here we sit. The Auburn Tigers do have a great season, but they end a little bit short. And, of course, you know who it's against.
Yeah, the Wahoos.
The Wahoos? I've never heard them called the Wahoos.
Well, it's just the Whoos, but the Wahoos is because I don't like them. Yeah, no back-to-back, which was going to be a tall feat regardless, but I think that in this day and age, we can be really careful on deeming something a success if it doesn't meet the highest stage. This team certainly was still plenty successful, making it back to Carlsbad and still having a good season. Every time you look toward your window, I think somebody's walking up.
I am checking vigilantly here, but I'm good. I'm going to stop looking eventually. If you see me do this, it's like then you need to be worried.
But a good season nonetheless. Another really great year for Jackson Coyven, and a special honor for him earning his tour card. Already saying he's coming back for his junior year. So certainly the train is not going to stop for Coach Kleiner and Auburn men's golf, but definitely a sombering moment, not really getting to advance any further.
Yeah, and certainly it puts into perspective as good and as dominant at times Auburn men's golf was this season. It still is the best of the best when you get to this point. And if you catch somebody on a good day or a bad day, the expectations can flip on its head. But not a bad season at all for Auburn men's golf. Very proud of what they've accomplished. And of course, what they did last season stands on its own. And if you're thinking about what's going to happen in the future, obviously, there's a lot of incoming freshmen that people are excited about. People who are already here. Auburn men's golf is not going anywhere, folks. As you just saw, there's a consistency being built there of expectation, making it to the end, to the NCAA tournament, to the very end. And so they did it again. Congratulations to them on a great season. Although it's sad it had to fall at the hands of dadgummit Virginia, even though they double putted to lose. Did you know that? They double putted or something?
I did.
That was poetic justice. Poetic justice. Of all the things that they have taken from us and so much joy and all that kind of stuff. All right. That's the season for Auburn men's golf. Let's talk about some football stuff. It is off-season time, but we have to talk about it when we get an opportunity to. This week, Auburn football announced their very first kickoff times for the 2025 season. We are going to be talking about the Baylor game, the Ball State game, and then South Alabama. Obviously, the first one's on the road Friday night. For those of you that missed that note, it has been moved from Saturday to Friday. Be kicking off at 7 p.m. Central Time. Ball State back home. We're kicking it off, Austin, with a night game at 6:30.
It will not be 60 degrees if that's what you were trying to get to there. If you were hoping. No, I can't, and I'm not going to because there's no chance that's happening.
Maybe 60 degrees Celsius. That's probably we're all dead at that point if I'm doing my conversions correctly. 11:45 will be South Alabama homecoming. That is when we will be cooking.
Now that we will die at that one. Yeah.
Why? I
couldn't. I'm just because I'm a pessimistic person. I couldn't even be happy about the 2 night games because I saw that and I thought no.
Homecoming is such a beautiful, magnificent thing, and why do we have to play it in September?
Well, it's going to be really sad when the homecoming queen melts right there on the 50-yard line of Pat Dye Field. But hey, at least we're all wearing white.
Hey, yeah, and all the pit stains are going to be showing pretty bad on those. I don't know if it shows worse on other things. Maybe navy is probably the thing that it doesn't show the most on. Here we are analyzing everybody's pit stains for some reason on a football.
Well, it's because they do 11:45 kickoffs in September and say, hey, but wear white, you might not burn.
Y'all, look, you knew we were going to rant about this because
I hate it so much.
I literally could hear Austin screaming from hundreds of miles off when they announced these kickoff times for at least the last one, the third game, the homecoming. We're going to be
good with the other two. I'm good with the other two.
Okay. Well, tell me, what do you think about 7 o'clock, 6:30 on the road and at home?
I mean, 7 o'clock, I think we all kind of, you don't move it to Friday night unless you don't move it to Friday unless it's Friday night, right? That would just be strange. So I think we all kind of had a good feeling about that. From a TV perspective, because the vast majority won't be in attendance, but kind of weird to be on Fox. That's not something Auburn fans are used to watching football on, so that'll be really interesting. But I'm very happy it's at night. I do plan to be in attendance, so that I'm even more happy that I will be in the Texas evening will still be warm, but it's not going to be the Texas day. So I'm still happy about that. And then 6:45, a season opener at night, or a home opener, at night. You can't ask for anything better. So I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, I hope that that's a good sign of things to come. I'm still weirded out by the like 6:45 and 11:45, like ending in 45 times but I think that's a new moniker given the ABC deal.
Right.
But I can't complain too much, but I will complain about 11:45 and we will and feeling this first level of hell inside Jordan Hare Stadium.
All right, Dante's Inferno. Okay. For those of you like literature buffs, so you got a little nice reference there.
That's what you get on E2C Auburn Experience After Dark.
You get analysis of pit stains and literature all in one mini segment.
That's right.
football was the premise that we were talking about. If you couldn't connect those dots on that, so there's your times for the first 3 games of the season, and set your temperatures, watches, everything accordingly, because it's gonna be a fun one, but it's gonna be a hot one for those, especially that third game of the season. Other stuff that happened this week. Let's talk about maybe one quick non-football thing. Camp War Eagles started, Austin, and I know this is another one of those like markers as we go through the off season of the bulk of Auburn sports, with Auburn baseball still going on, I know, but when you graduation happens, everybody gets that first couple weeks out of summer, and then we just got done celebrating all of the people who graduated, welcoming them into the Auburn alumni family. But here we are starting to welcome in the next wave of them. Camp War Eagle. I feel like we talk about this every year, so it's not something we have to spend a ton of time on. But I think it's an important thing. It's like a rite of passage that most people go through. And I think there's a different version for transfers like I went through, which is like a day.
SOS or something like that.
SOS, something like that. I'm assuming you went through Camp War Eagle, if I remember correctly.
I did. Yep. To my knowledge, it's still mainly the same as far as your schedule and your itinerary as you get through Camp War Eagle. I think making your actual class schedule, I know, has changed. But I think what you saw and what I saw are the pictures of the first pep rally they get to attend in the stadium, and walking around following their leaders with the signs and things like that. And it's very cool. I know it's not a unique thing. Orientation is not a unique to Auburn thing, but it is special to get to see so many students who will be making Auburn their home this fall, and get to start kind of learning those traditions and being a part of the town we love so much. So it looks like the nun was part of the pep rally. So she's still kicking it, and it looked like it was going to be awesome. I mean, they got a good sneak peek of our 2 new video boards. So, I mean, that's a unique Camp War Eagle group to be in.
I feel like there's something new in Auburn pretty much every year, whether it's just another skyrise downtown or it's a new video board, which is basically a skyrise in itself. If you've not walked around campus and seen the video board changing
I
the
saw
skyline,
it from my entire baseball seat tonight.
I'm just saying, folks, y'all need to get used to this and the new views for Tiger Walk with all of that. So, look, if you're coming to campus for Camp War Eagle, we hope you have a great time. Make the most of it. Get involved, all that kind of stuff. Because like this weekend, I saw a lot of the tour guides going around with the tour groups and stuff like that, and just takes you back to that moment. So, the next wave of Auburn students and future Auburn alumni, hopefully, most of you, hopefully, have arrived or started to get themselves prepped for the upcoming year. It'll be here before you know it, just in a few months, that we'll be celebrating all of that. I do want to acknowledge a non-like sports kind of tertiary thing, but this is a self-indulgent thing for me and Austin. We love college football 25, and I think we're going to love college football 26 even more. They debuted their trailer, their covers. Now there's a lot of this like disgusting shade of red all over their covers, which is unfortunate, but still the game brings us much joy as Auburn fans because we get to play with what is hopefully going to be an increasingly better options on the gameplay in this upcoming year. So this week they revealed that, and I know Austin probably saw all that stuff, but let's talk about the covers real quick. What did you think about the covers? There's some Auburn presence.
Yeah, there's an Auburn presence. The thing that, like you said, I mean, there's certainly a more priority or primary place of a certain team on there we'd like to not have. However, I think with the sorry, my phone's blowing up. With the, what were you saying? Covers, this year, like in this era of the college football game, for me, it's not as big a deal because you buy it online, or at least I do. And so you don't like have the physical cover. I can tell you all the physical covers from back in my childhood,
right?
Because we just had them lined up. So it's not as like I mean, I think it's still a big deal, but it's not as a nuisance for me to have to look at, right? If I had the actual cover. However, I like to see Auburn on there. I think they were last year. The flag was kind of like in the distance, right? Primary placement of a flag this year, so that's nice. And
the flag's there.
I'll tell you what, though, Kyle, the best thing I saw, as we get closer to it, maybe we'll cover kind of more of the changes this year, but I'd like to hear your favorite thing that it sounds like is coming to it. Mine is that Road to Glory truly is back with the high school atmosphere of playing as a recruit. I made all the schools my high school played against.
Yeah.
But before I chose Auburn on signing day, obviously. But is there anything you like so far? The video clip showed our light show. I did like that as well.
That's what I was going to talk about. And I like the authenticity factor that they're going for these days with it. And on the Auburn side of things, obviously the light show. And then there's a lot of people ask immediately when we posted about it and shared the information out about it, are they going to have the new video board? And I think yes. I don't know that for a fact. They obviously didn't show that angle for a reason. Maybe it's not done being rendered yet. Of course, it comes out in about a month, so hopefully that's going to be ready. I got to think it is. The other side of this too, Austin, Nike is going to probably be prominent in there, not Under Armour. So whether you're like, okay, why do I need to play this again? It's the same thing. There's new things every year. If you're the Auburn person, new players, new gear, and new logos, if that's part of what you're excited about, potentially new video board and the look and the light show, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to be excited about with college football 26 coming up. I will be playing. We're in the game. He's in the game. We hope that you're going to be in the game.
Coaches are in the game. That's the difference this year,
and I forgot that too.
So there's definitely changes, and there'll be fun things to see about it. I'd be shocked if the video board's not in it. It felt like last year there was like stadiums that weren't even done in real life were in the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not very smart with all those coding and stuff that they have to do. But to me, on the outside, who's on a podcast here at 11:45, almost the next day, it seems like it wouldn't be that big a deal. But that's just
like it wouldn't be that big a deal. But we solve the world's problems from this time of night, so we can solve the problems for college football 26 as well.
Sure.
As a final note in Auburn Potpourri, because we want to give them a shout out, Auburn men's and women's track and field is heading off to NCAA championships. They just finished up preliminaries. 14 Tigers are heading that way. And as I did my math somewhat, it looks like I think Auburn men is sending enough to championships this year to maybe make some noise like they did last year and nearly win a national title. Not calling it. I'm just saying y'all need to pay attention to this, folks. Track and field coach Leroy Burrell has got this track and field rolling. Make sure you pay attention to them as they enter national championships, which I believe will be in a week or so, maybe about 2 weeks, I think, out there in Eugene, Oregon. That's going to do it on the Auburn Potpourri side of things. But before we move on, let's talk about our friends at Magic Mind. You've been hearing us talk about them a lot over the years and the months here recently, and most recently these weeks. And boy, this is important right now because this is a late stream that we're doing, and it's for a very good reason. College baseball is here, folks. We're a big part of it. You're a big part of it. And you got to stay up and stay focused as you've had to do all this weekend for all of these amazing games. And it's been just quite the NCAA baseball tournament, especially on the Auburn side of things. When you're trying to stay connected, stay focused, that's a big thing. You need some tools that are going to help you do that, to have peak mental performance, to stay connected to the scores, and also get your day-to-day tasks done as well. There's a lot of different things that you can use out there. There's a lot of supplements. There's a lot of other energy drinks and things like that, but they're not necessarily that good for us. Let's be honest. That's where our friends at Magic Mind come in. They have their mental performance shot that you can use not just right now during this busy season for Auburn, but in every busy season for Auburn and Auburn fandom. Make sure you check them out by visiting magicmind.com/the Auburn Experience. They've got a limited time offer for you that you can use. 48% off your first subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase. Use that code Auburn Experience, AUBURN EXPERIENCE. You didn't think I was going to be able to spell it that quickly, did you? Real quick, last couple things we want to share with you about them. As a reminder, this is not a replacement for your daily caffeine or your coffee. In fact, it's really meant to be used alongside your coffee. If that's your thing, it helps enhance the effects that you're trying to get from coffee, makes those effects last longer. You can get your 100% of your daily vitamin C and D in every bottle, and it's 100% safe, tested through their advisory board of doctors and medical researchers. Again, this is the time, folks. Make sure you go check out Magic Mind and their mental performance shot by visiting magicmind.com/the Auburn Experience and use the code Auburn Experience for 48% off your first subscription or 20% off your one-time purchase. All right, Austin, we have got a lot to discuss tonight. What a night. It is still very late on the live portion of the show. This is why you should always stay subscribed, because you get to experience weird things like this. Nobody has knocked on the window yet.
Thank goodness.
In the mobile broadcast studio.
No one's knocked on my window either.
That would be a little bit more concerning if they're knocking
It
on your
would.
window. I'm in a place where like it kind of might happen. Yours, that's on you.
It'd be a
All right.
problem.
We are here post Auburn Regional. Auburn baseball just won in the fewest game possible. Did not lose a single game. One on Friday evening, one on Saturday evening, one on Sunday evening. They defeated every one of the opponents because they played every one of them. Central Connecticut, they beat them on Friday night. Saturday night, they beat Stetson. Another dub. And then tonight, NC State. Another dub. Yes. So your Tigers are regional champs, moving on to host their very first super regional in Auburn, Alabama, against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Now,
look at you.
I got it all down tonight. I'm getting my second wind here on this late show.
I am not, so carry us through.
I have to. Somebody has to. All right. We'll come back to the what's next thing in the Chanticleers. Let's talk about this. We can maybe we do it this way. Let's talk about the games or what we want to talk about from that first, and then maybe the experience of it. We like to take both angles here. I think for me, first thing that sticks out from this weekend, especially Friday night, and really the whole weekend, but Friday night and tonight, Sunday, or a few hours ago, Sunday, pitching stuck out to me. Alvarez tonight versus NC State. Carson Myers coming in and just locking it down after a rough start for Cam Tilley against Central Connecticut. And they can hit, boy. Boy, can they hit. Now, Sam Dutton also did a strong work as well. Don't get me wrong. But that's honestly, the bats are just kind of there. Like we know they're going to be there. But I thought the pitching did a pretty good job this weekend.
Really good pitching. I think, Alvarez going tonight certainly allows you to kind of see what he can do when you get out there. Obviously, when you come into today's game, you're the 2-0 opponent. You have to be beat twice. I'm not saying you don't want to go out there and try to win the game, but you can be a little more conservative if you'd like to. I think that, Christian Chatterton not being seen at all this regional is a big win for Auburn. To be able to hold him. And so you've got Alvarez, who is another talented freshman. And my goodness, the freshmen in this class are just littered all over the success of this Auburn regional. But Alvarez does an incredible job tonight. Certainly gets tons of run support. But I thought the pitching was also phenomenal. The bats just continue to be just on fire. Bub Terrell ends up being your all-region MVP. His best weekend as an Auburn Tiger. Do I need to say anything other than Ike Irish? Probably not. I think he daggum near hit South Donahue tonight with his moonshot 420 feet. Just a dominant performance by Auburn. We talked last week about our predictions, and Auburn just mowed through this field. Yes, I know Stetson beat NC State first. I know. As soon as it happened, I knew it. Okay.
Come on.
I knew that. Go Hatters, baby.
I called it, folks. If you'll go back to episode 126, I said that the Stetson Hatters would beat NC State and force them to have to fight their way to get to Auburn. And they did that. But I was expecting NC State to win tonight and force me to stay another day in Auburn, which is just the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. How dare you?
How dare they? But I'm thankful also that we were able to just put the wood to them tonight. I mean,
a really good field,
right?
Like very talented field, but I think it shows Auburn pretty much cakewalk through it, and just did a really good job. So, we've talked about it before, and this is the show that is never going to not stand by Butch Thompson.
Oh man!
But the most regional championships by any head coach in Auburn baseball history at 4, bringing a super regional to Auburn baseball for the first time ever. I do not have any more patience for anyone against Butch Thompson. So it's ridiculous at this point, but the turnaround, especially this year, and all that he's done with this group, bringing in the class that he did, them all contributing right away, just a dominant performance for Auburn baseball this weekend. And I know we'll get into the experience, but man, what a turnout too.
Yeah, turnout. What was the final tally for tonight? Do you remember?
I don't think I've seen it.
I think so.
7-4 something.
So we probably didn't break it again, but we did break it on Friday night, the record that being, and then we broke it on Saturday night. And I'll be honest with you, the Saturday night crowd, when I was first got there, I thought, well, it's going to be big, but I didn't think it was going to break anything. And then we did it again. So it's just, the extra, yeah, we're going to talk about in just a second here. The crowd, the offense, the pitching, and then to be honest too, like you talked about, this is a great field of great talent, but we're also talking about some great fans and great fan bases as well. They're a little rowdy at times. The Stetson Hatters, Austin only got to experience one day of baseball here, but I got to see the Stetson Hatter fans, and they are a little rowdy. So,
they're a little rowdy, but I think they're a mid-major program that has a lot of history
and a lot of pride.
Love their team, and they had some really good players. So overall, how did you think about the opposing fans that came in? Have any stories of their opinions of Auburn, the city, things like that?
Yeah, we always like to take an assessment, and I tried to find someone this weekend to kind of pull aside, or when there was a moment to, and I didn't really get that, but I kind of heard some whispers of conversations off to the side, and I heard some good things as well. And I heard passion a lot, like they were impressed with Auburn's passion for baseball, obviously, but just in general for just Auburn. So there were those types of conversations that I would catch glimpses of, nothing like I was personally involved with, but I didn't hear of a bad experience. Now, I do believe the president of Stetson was leaving. I know I saw his face earlier, so I recognized him coming out into the game tonight, and he was interacting with a lot of Auburn fans, just saying thank you to them, and just very, that's a good thing to see. Like when the president of a university is going around and thanking Auburn fans for just being welcoming and stuff like that. So I think from that vibe, it was in a few conversations I had, it was all above board where we would normally want this to be.
Great.
So that brings us into the experience part of it, because we just talked about it for them. Once again, they find a way to squish more people into Plainsman Park. We have put video out of the different risers they put up, which I will imagine will be available for the super regionals as well. Space out in the outfield now is ticketed for students, mainly, if not only students out there. Risers in the left field corner, past the left field corner. Risers up on top of the War Eagle wall now. Listen, folks, there were tickets still available, so we could have had even bigger crowds. But I know you didn't get to see it but one night, and you were limited, I guess, to be able to walk around. But I got to share a lot of my stuff on social media, what I thought about it. What did you think about the additions?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that it was really innovative to see kind of how you squeeze more people in there, but not feel like it has to feel cramped.
Sure.
Now, certainly, if you wanted to get cramped and wait in line to get up on that Tiger Terrace, you could do so.
Yep.
I think it'd be well worth it for you to do it. But to see that there was room and innovative ways to add space for Auburn fans to still, if they wanted to come down, I think made a big difference. I love that we still integrate the parking deck into it. It felt like with those risers past the left field, that kind of worked its way halfway up the parking deck, that it was just kind of extending the ballpark and including the parking deck, which Auburn's never been anti-parking deck. I'm not saying that, but it felt like it was like all conclusive, as in it was all touching, which is really neat. I thought the video boards they put out there to kind of show the TV stream for those that didn't have full view of the stadium was really cool. So, we've talked about Auburn External Department on the show before, and what a great job we think they do. And that was no different in an event like this. If you think back and probably listen back to 2 years ago of episodes, that group came in to the Auburn Regional they were hosting and started making a lot of big changes. And we saw those on full display this week in a new and improved Plainsman Park. And man, she was pretty and she was ready for this many people. So couldn't have been a better weekend weather-wise, especially. But just a really good week for Auburn baseball.
Yeah, it's once the weather rolled through on Friday, it was
Right,
just picture
right.
perfect. And I mean, warm, but not overly warm.
Yep.
Cool. There was one night I was like, I could have used a jacket for a minute here just because there was a nice breeze rolling through. So if you didn't come to regionals, you missed out, folks. Come to super regionals if you can, even for just a game, even for just a night, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow as a team. But also, this is the first time that the Auburn Tigers are hosting super regionals in Plainsman Park. Their 5th one overall that they've made. Don't miss this opportunity, folks. Do not miss the opportunity to come hang out with your Auburn Tigers. I plan to be there right now. I got some scheduled things I'm working out, but hopefully that you all can make it out there and hang out with myself or whoever else is going to be out there. It's going to be a big crowd. So quickly, Chanticleers coming to town. I asked some opinions before I left the stadium from friends and other people. A lot of people are really excited, but also nervous about the Chanticleers coming as the 13 seed over. They had quite the battle in their regional. They had to beat Florida. They had to beat East Carolina. And I forget the other one. And that was in.
Yeah, I can't remember who their 4 seed was.
Yeah. But what do you think?
21 games in a row they've won. Possibly the hottest team in America right now. I heard on the radio, Butch Thompson gave them a lot of credit. I think it will be a very, very fun matchup for Auburn. I feel, and this could be just myself speaking, I feel though that sometimes we see those mid-majors matched up in baseball, and we think of it lesser, like because it wouldn't be quite as the same as football or basketball. I don't think that's the case with baseball. They earned the right to host their own regional as well. They steamrolled through it, played the minimum amount of games, and had a pretty good job. I certainly counted them out. I told you last week I thought Florida would be coming out of that regional. So, and Florida did not look good. Coastal Carolina took care of business, and I think that they will come in very, very pesky, play a lot of a fun nature of baseball. So it's going to be a great series in Plainsman Park with an admirable opponent, certainly.
Would you like to offer a prediction?
Oh,
you don't have
gosh.
to. I'm just curious. What are you feeling? We're sitting here on a
If you're going to ask me.
Sunday evening, Monday morning at this point.
It is now Monday morning.
Okay, officially, I'm looking at it, yeah.
And I'll say 2-1. I think it goes to 3 games. But I think Auburn goes. I'll say Auburn gets to Omaha 2-1. Now we don't know the days, right? It is
where I'm sitting right now on a just turned to Monday early morning. I do not know.
I have not seen it. I know that they stagger them, so it could be Friday is game 1 or Saturday is game 1, and it goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But obviously, you only play 3, the maximum of 3. Sure. But we do not know times or days yet. But I'll say it goes 3. That's what I'm going to say.
I think it goes 3. I'm going to offer a prediction since I did so great last week.
Yes, please.
I'm going to predict that Coastal Carolina wins the first one.
Oh, gosh, you're scaring me.
And then Auburn wins the second one. And I think in just roaring fashion, Auburn sends a message in the final super regional game to go to Omaha and make a historic season and a incredible bounce back for them. Now, I don't like to step out and making predictions all that often that deep, especially specifically about Auburn. So that must tell you what I saw this weekend and what I've seen this season as well. But please do not take that. And Austin's saying similar things here. Me saying that's not a respect thing for the Chanticleers. They're coming in. They're hot. One of the hottest teams maybe in baseball. And they've got a rowdy fan base from what I understand too. So show up, show out for us and the team. And it's going to be fun. Super Regionals time, baby. It is here. Enjoy it because these don't come around. Historic for the 5th time in program history. As we wrap up our show this evening with our final segment, we're going to give you not so much the spring sports flavor. We hit a little football, then we did spring. Now let's talk about winter sports here. Basketball. Yes, we're still talking about basketball because, boy, Austin and I have been talking about additions and transfers in previous episodes. We've got videos out about for informational purposes of all those guys if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But for the purposes of this evening, we got some big news this weekend. And boy,
did we?
Listen, the biggest question I've been asked for several weeks is Tahad Pettiford coming back, folks. Tahad Pettiford's coming back for his sophomore season. How great is that? That's just so good. So
it's the best addition the Auburn could have gotten this
Mm-hmm.
offseason. And Bruce Pearl says much recently in an interview, there was not going to be someone else out there that was going to be as impactful as Tahad on this team.
Yep.
And he came back. I think that I saw he had some guarantees or some leanings from teams, but he was not going to risk it. And I certainly think that he's going into next year a lottery pick. If he has a year like he had and improves. And that's one of the best parts about this draft process in the modern age is that these kids can come back. They can hear about what teams think of them, what they need to work on. I have no doubt Tahad got a lot of that. And so I'm really looking forward to him being back, being a focal point for the Auburn offense. And I think that it is the best case scenario for Tahad, for Auburn, all the way around. And man, I can't wait to see Agent Zero lead the Tigers again.
Now, listen, you can't take away Agent Zero from my boy Horace Spencer. That's Tahad may eventually take it. That's my boy Horace Spencer. Looking at you, Agent Zero. I miss him dearly, but certainly Tahad he can certainly take that away from Horace, but I love him dearly. So Tahad's back. Certainly, we want to talk about the whole roster here, but I think it's appropriate to park here for such a minute because it's big news, as you talked about. It's probably the most important piece because let's be honest, it's the only piece left of any of the scholarships from last season. Is this Tahad's team? Are we just calling it? Like, I know he's got to go out there and earn it every day. I'm not just trying to say that nobody else has got a shot to be a leader. Is this Tahad's team? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be. I think, he's the only one, like you said, from last year's team. He's the only one that knows exactly how Bruce does things, exactly how things work in Auburn, Alabama. He is going to be have to be a leader for this team in terms of just setting the culture and setting the standard that Coach Pearl and wants to get these guys to follow. Now, it doesn't mean that other guys won't turn out to be leaders. I think that you have a lot of guys who've played really well elsewhere or have been those kind of guys for other teams. Now they just all got to mesh together. But I think it's definitely Tahad's team, and he's the face of it at the moment. But I think if it's anything like what we've seen over the past few years of how Bruce builds these teams, they'll come together pretty quickly.
They will. Certainly, we can't skip over this edition that happened previous to this one. Like literally, it was the same day and an hour separated. So I think there may have been some orchestration in that. Bruce has talked about whether or not Tahad was going to come back, what needed to happen at that position that would change things depending on his decision. But he also identified that Auburn needed another big man. And there's been a lot of chatter that there was going to be an international flavor coming to Auburn. And I'm happy to say that I've been practicing. I believe I am pronouncing his name right because Filip Jovic decided to come over from Serbia to be part of the Auburn Tigers. About 6'9", so just a flat out forward. Some people I've seen put him as a power forward. Everybody has their differing opinion. We do know that he's going to be a big presence for Auburn to go with some of those other pieces that they brought in here. Comes from the same team as Nikola Jovic or Jokic. See, that's going to be their same country. I think the same team, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
That was a great way to kick the day off even before the Tahad news. I've seen a lot of people already throw him maybe into this is way too predictive, way too early, but to a starter role. I mean, what do you think about the addition, where that fits in?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, it's definitely something different than Auburn's really had in recent years. They haven't gone the international route a whole lot. I think the last really big name they got was Babatunde Akingbola. He ended up being a really important glue guy and a really good culture fit guy for Auburn. Didn't show a lot of contributions on the court in the stat sheet and things like that, but they're certainly looking for that from Filip Jovic or Jovic.
Jovic, so I think I'd still mispronounced it. So
that's okay.
It's going to happen with me, folks. Look, it has nothing to do with their name. It's just me. I'm from Alabama. I can't talk.
Until we get them talking about them and we get Bruce Pearl's accent talking about them, we probably won't have it right. So just to bear with us. But I don't know about starting role. He's obviously played a lot of big minutes in a professional setting. But I know that this is not the thing everybody wants to hear, but do starters really matter in Auburn's offense? I think
Thank
yes,
you.
to an extent.
Thank
But
you.
but if you haven't been paying attention the last few years, I don't know what to tell you, because the minutes are so spread out, to keep guys fresh and to keep guys playing their role. So I don't know if it really matters, but I know that with him, Auburn's big room gets another really talented addition to Keyshawn Murphy,
Yeah.
Emeka Purum, and so I think they're going to be just fine. I do like that he is there. We talked about how Emeka Purum is coming from a junior college, and is a little bit more raw on the basketball side. So you don't have to put a whole lot of eggs in that basket as he can continue developing. You can teach him. So I think it's a great addition. I love that they use that scholarship for it, and it's a little international flavor. We get a little bit international Auburn flavor. We like that.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think European style basketball obviously is a little bit different. So
Very.
a little bit of diversity, a little bit of different styles of play being mixed in with, some people that you're familiar with, like we've had an addition from the SEC and other Power Five conferences. I love Bruce Pearl has done nothing but show you that he knows how to find the pieces and put them together. And I have full faith that he can do that. So to round out our time on this subject, let's ask this question. And I think it's an obvious question, but I think it bears being at least said. Is the roster complete? If you look at the numbers, they now have 11 scholarship players that if I've counted correctly, let me run through them real quick. Returning, Dahad Pettiford. That's it. Transfers, Keyshawn Hall, Keyshawn Murphy, Kevin Overton, Elijah Freeman, Emeka Purum, Abdul Bashir, Philip Jovic, and now incoming freshmen, Caden Magwood, Sebastian Williams Adams, and Simon Walker. That is your class with the addition of that. And then, of course, you've got some walk-ons and such. They're going to be part of the roster. But Bruce loves to run that 9 to 11 man scheme and really pares it down to about 9. So some of these guys are thinking maybe they're coming into play right away, and they might, but it eventually is the minutes will get figured out along the way. So, and I'm asking the obvious question, Austin, is the roster complete?
Yeah, I think it's complete. I know that there's scholarships still out there. I think we've also seen a pretty good pattern of Bruce Pearl and the staff awarding a walk on a scholarship throughout the year. I think Blake Mustralek's probably a pretty good candidate for that. And there's certainly other guys deserving, but I think he's the eldest of the group. And so
elder statesman.
That's right, Mustralek, and he's a daggum good player too.
Yeah, he is.
So I think we're done. A lot of those guys also were at the baseball game tonight, so that's always cool to see. But they're all really tall. Even those ones you think are short, they're really tall.
Well,
coming from someone who's short.
But you didn't have to do yourself like that.
Look, I know it. I know it. I'm not afraid to say it. But I think they're done. I think they're really happy with this roster, and the way it looks and the things that they're going to be able to mold to it. I will say this, and I don't know if everybody saw this, but Auburn men's basketball put out this week that they all got to have a little fun time, fellowship out at Lake Martin with Coach Pearl's house. I was also at Lake Martin this weekend, and we drove by Coach Pearl's house. Did not see them, but could have been different days and mixed up things. But I had no idea they were out there. They probably would have invited me if they'd known I was out there too. They probably wanted me to also be on the inner tube, right?
I have something to say about this. Jackie Pearl, his daughter, put out a little statement saying that they often get visitors that just, drive by and want to see what's going on. But talked about people with binoculars out making it extra creepy. That wasn't you, was it?
That was definitely not me. That was definitely not me. I had not seen that, actually. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. No, we were just driving around. And I said, that is a really nice house. And my sibling actually said, that's Coach Pearl's house. I said, that would be why it's nice.
You should have joined in on the fun and been part of the videos. And shout out to Stephen Leonard for continuing to put out the great content from the Auburn basketball accounts. He stops by on our content from time to time. So I love to shout him out whenever we get an opportunity to, and I'm sure he had a great time out there as well. Let me ask the question. and again, I despise way too early predictions and things like
I'm
that.
not doing
But
this.
our audience is going to kill me if I don't bring it up and ask. Okay, so I'm sorry.
I'm not
I
giving.
have to humor it to some extent. Just don't even think about it. Who's your starting five right
Oh
now?
my gosh.
I know. I hate it too. It's way too
Tahad
early.
Pettiford. I'm not thinking about it. Tahad
Don't do it.
Pettiford, Keyshawn. Not which one?
Murphy
It's
or
12,
Hall?
15 people. Keyshawn both. How
Okay.
about that?
Yeah.
That's 3 of them. Yeah, we'll throw Jovic in there,
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm missing a.
Well, you said both. You both said both Keyshawn's Tahad, Jovic, however you say it, Jovic. Yeah, you're missing one.
Who'd be? There's an obvious one. I'm probably.
There's a guard.
I'll say.
You probably need a guard in there.
I'll say Kevin Overton. I don't really know if I am sold
Yeah.
on that, but I'll say Kevin Overton. It's 12-15, so I'm trying not to think about it.
Yes, it is. That's the one I'm seeing a lot. A lot of people are predicting that kind of, and I think that makes some sense. There's a lot of power conference experience on that. Tahad, we acknowledged this is Tahad's team in essence, and so he's going to be there. He was coming back for a starting role and a starting pay grade, pay upgrade, I'm sure. Murphy, I think, has got to be on there at least to start. Expected, right? And Hall is all.
I think Hall is as guaranteed as Tahad at this point to me.
You talking about in basketball triangles, like Kobe, Shaq, and Fisher. I think is the trios. Trios, and you make the triangle.
Gasol, Nash, of those.
Whoever you want to throw in there. That's a pretty good, even though it's a larger one with both Hall or Keyshawn's in that. I like that a lot. Now, they may not be the stars. And folks, please listen to what Austin and I are telling you here. It doesn't matter as much as y'all think it is. It's fun to talk about as long as you keep it in perspective, and it's way too early for that type of stuff. But I'll go with you as well. I think that's the obvious choice that everybody's talking about right now, but time will tell. Long way to go.
Sure.
Point is this. The roster's complete as far as we can tell. It looks like now we just shift to waiting for some scheduling news and stuff like that. I think it's going to be quiet in the basketball discussions for a while.
I think so too. And, I'm still hoping to relate it to an earlier topic. I'm still hoping that maybe we get some EA college basketball here back soon, because we'd have a lot of fun. We would have a lot of fun.
We would get nothing done. There would be no more episodes of this because that's all Kyle would be doing.
Oh, I mean, and then you throw in to also relate it to the baseball news of the day. I mean, if we could get all 3 back, man, we'd be cooking.
Never would see Kyle.
No, we would not be cooking. We wouldn't be getting anything done.
You have you got to deal with twins and stuff too. Yeah,
I wouldn't get any sleep.
Games, so.
Yeah, I'd just be playing and then talking with you about how we're playing.
Yeah, and that would be not as entertaining to show. Although maybe in some ways it'd be more entertaining. It is midnight.
It'd be interesting.
Past.
Golly. If you're here watching live, props. That's all I got for you.
Hey, props to us for pulling this off to this late from the mobile broadcast studio. All right, that's episode 127. Thanks for hanging out with us. You got everything in there. Auburn Potpourri. We got the regional discussion looking ahead to the super regionals, and we got the basketball roster talk out of the way. We want to hear from you. Let us know in direct messages. Hit us up on social media. You can follow me for social media at Kyle Loomis 24. Where can they find you?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott on Instagram and X, and let us know.
And in the bed because he's about to fall asleep right now.
And yes.
That was weird, and I saw the look. No, you could have just ran past it.
You brought it up. I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Yes. Hope a lot of people are coming next weekend for real.
Yeah.
I think that this is your last on-campus event for the athletic year. Is that correct? Yeah. I mean, you just said tracks going to tracks
out in Eugene. Yeah. Wow. Thanks for bringing it down.
That's a bittersweet thing.
I got to drive home thinking about next weekend. If for some reason I can't make it, is the last Auburn on-campus thing for this athletic calendar year. Thanks for that, Austin.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just trying to tell everybody, a lot of fiscal years start July 1, so come spend your tax dollars down in Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. That's been a good weekend, and it'll be a good weekend next weekend. Hope that you all can be here too. And if not, we'll certainly talk about it in the coming week or so. thanks for hanging out with us on a very weird and late night, episode 127 of the Auburn Experience. As always, we appreciate you spending time with us and hanging out with us to be part of our little family within the Auburn family. Till then, War Eagle.
War Eagle.